there, welcome to the Daily Mix. I am Angela Sharp, and you are in for a treat today. We have a lot of holiday fun stuff to talk about on the show. But before we do that, I want to talk about, there's a lot of light displays that people do at their own homes that are typically free. You can just drive by them whenever you want. I think a lot of people in the area know about Candy Cane Lane, right? That's where that whole street behind Ted Drew's, they kind of each have just a little bit of lights, so it makes it look epic. Well, this past weekend, Santa was there. I got to hang out with him for a little bit, which was fun. But there's so many other light displays around town, like this one in Webster. Now, this is during the daytime. At night, everything that's an icicle is all lit up. It looks really, really great at night, but of course I had to take my car and take a picture of it during the daytime. But then there's so many other ones, like this one right here. Now, you can't tell in this photo, but this man has a whole train set up. It goes around his front yard, into his backyard and around, and little kids can ride on it. Now, I asked if I could ride on it. Apparently, I'm too big to ride on it. But all these little kids were going around maybe 5 or 6 times around, and it was so, so neat. So if you're into just kind of seeing what awesome holiday light displays other people have, there's a really good website. It's called Holiday Light Hopping, and they kind of have photos of these different lights. There's some in Illinois, there's some all the way out in St. Charles, and there's a ton right here in the city of St. Louis. So you definitely should check that out so you can kind of see some of those, individual light displays. And like I said, typically they're free. So the rest of the show today is going to be the ones that you pay for, but they're also awesome, so you're going to have to stick around for that. But you also have to stay around because I have my friend Jamie Thurber here. She is going to tell us, she's a life coach, so she's going to help me get my life back on track, and she's going to give us some tips. We're going to have a great time talking about it because that New Year's coming. Apparently, she says we're not supposed to be stressed this time of year. We'll find out more. So let's get started on today's Daily Mix. Like I said, there are so many great events going on this holiday season. It would be impossible to name them all in the time we have for today's show. But we're going to tell you about as many as we possibly can. So you ready? Buckle up. Here we go. Holiday happiness is always on track at the National Museum of Transportation. Their holiday events, including the E. Desmond Lee Holiday Train exhibit and miniature train rides, run through December 30th. You can find a full list of events at tnmot.org. Now, another fun way to keep your holiday fun on track is aboard the Polar Express. I love this. I took my niece and my nephew a couple years ago. This was very, very magical. The real train departs St. Louis Union Station daily for round-trip rides to the North Pole through December 30th. You can find tickets and more information at stlpolarexpressride.com. Now, that's not the only fun you'll find at Union Station this holiday season. They have festive pop-ups, one-of-a-kind gifts, carnival games, and scuba claws diving in Shark Cannon at the aquarium. Union Station is brimming with holiday excitement. Visit stlouisunionstation.com for all those details. Now, you can also celebrate the season with some holiday magic. The Magic House is all decked out for the holidays with plenty of photo ops, a life-size gingerbread cafe, indoor snowball carnival, and much more. You can learn more about holiday magic and all their special holiday events at magichouse.org. Now, the holidays are weirdly wonderful at the City Museum. Larger-than-life light displays, visit with Santa and Mrs. Claus, and holiday cocktails are just some of the festivities that round out this magical offbeat celebration. Weirdly wonderful holiday runs all month long. Check out thecitymuseum.org for all the details. Brewery Lights is a favorite, and it is, of course, at Anheuser-Busch, and it's back. In addition to the million twinkling lights, you can enjoy interactive Yule Groove performances, brewery tours, the Kids Winter Wonderland, and more. Brewery Lights goes through December 30th. You can learn more at budweisertours.com/brewerylights. How about escaping to a wild wonderland full of brand new light displays and festive fun at the US Bank Wild Lights at the St. Louis Zoo? You can enjoy colorful light displays, some of your favorite attractions, dazzling photo ops, and more. Wild Lights is open through December 30th. You can find details at stlzoo.org. Holiday Lights at Grants Farm is also back and brighter than ever. You can walk through and see the lights up close and at your own pace, or you can make it even more magical by adding a carriage ride. The festivities run through December 30th. Learn more about all of their holiday offerings at grantsfarm.com. More than 2 million twinkling lights await you at the Missouri Botanical Gardens Garden Glow. You can enjoy classic favorites, plus new features, including a new interactive tile dance floor, elevated s'mores, and more. Garden Glow is open nightly through January 6th. You can go to visit mobot.org for all those details. And of course, while you're there, you have to check out the Holiday Flower and Train Show and watch the G-scale trains and trolleys travel through hundreds of poinsettias inside the Emerson Conservatory. It runs through January 1st and is included with your Garden Glow admission. Mobot.org has all those details as well. So much going on, and I'm not done yet. The Gateway Arch Park Foundation's Winterfest is back for its 8th year with all the fan favorites, including ice skating, s'mores, igloos, and more underneath the 100,000 twinkling lights, all in the heart of downtown St. Louis at Keener Plaza. Winterfest runs through December 31st. Visit archpark.org/winterfest for a full lineup of events. The Shrine of Our Lady of the Snows Way of Lights is a breathtaking display that focuses on the birth of Christ. Over 1 million lights and life-size displays light the way on their journey to Bethlehem. Also enjoy live animals, Christmas trees, Lego displays, and more. The Way of Lights runs through December 31st. Visit snows.org for more information. Maybe a night at the movies is kind of more of your favorite holiday tradition. Also, it makes your family shh while we watch it. So just in time for Christmas, you can embark on the family adventure of a lifetime with a family of ducks trying to make their way to Jamaica. Take a look at Migration.
Here we are together. We're on an adventure. Seeing what else life has to offer. Is that a little scary? Sure. But isn't it worth it?
We're not gonna make it, are we?
Uncle Dan!
What is this place?
We are completely lost.
Where's your mother? That is not your mother.
We're trying to get to Jamaica.
Don't worry, Chump's gotcha.
So listen, Chump.
What? Did you just call me?
Sorry, I thought your name was Chump.
Yeah, Chump. Yeah, that's my name. What?
Right. So listen, Chump.
What did you just call me?
I'm sorry. Is everyone else hearing Chump? What?
This isn't about migration. It's about adventure.
Whoa, hey!
What just happened?
I don't know, but you're in trouble.
What is that?
Chocolat Rouge.
What's the color orange?
It's you with L'Orange on top.
There's a whole world we've been missing out on.
And we. When danger strikes, you do not run from it. Reload! We're going to finish this crazy, wonderful adventure.
You're so adorable. Maybe I'll eat you. I'm kidding. Or am I?
Huh? Go, go, go!
It looks like that would be pretty cute. So if you want to make your family, that's a good place to take them. I am now joined by my friend Jamie Thurber, life coach. We have to tell people, just watching Jamie's Instagram will make you feel better about yourself just for a second. So do you keep that mentality throughout your life?
I mean, I try to, yeah, but it is just like anybody. I have my own coach and my own methods to try to keep myself in that space. I'm a big believer in I can't fake it, even if I tried, so I have to live that as much as possible. I learned that early on. Otherwise, I could never give that kind of information out to people. It would be super fake.
Because you're so positive. But if somebody's heard of a life coach, I feel like all those Hallmark movies have a life coach. But what is really a life coach as far as you're concerned?
Oh, it's super different, I think, than what most people think. And so basically, what a lot of people, they don't have someone to talk to about everything that's going on that's not involved at all. In most aspects of your life who you're talking to, they have an opinion, they are emotionally involved, or they have their own point of view with what you should be doing. To where when you have a coach, it's they're in your ring and in your corner with you, but they're there to be more of a voice of reason, more of an ear if that's all you need, more of a constructive way to keep moving through life in the way that you want to. So most people, it's just a really nice outlet that's not attached to the rest of their lives.
So yeah, it's somebody who, like if I ask my friend, she might really, want to help whatever she's doing, so she wants you to do this. But when I ask you, well, you're my friend. But if I asked you and I didn't know you, you'd be like, oh, well, what about this, this, and this?
Right, yeah. I've had to learn to check myself with friends too, because of course when your friend's a coach, like you want to ask them all these questions, right. And I've had to learn to step back and say, wait a minute, like is this my opinion or is this my professional advice? And so I'm able to ask them, which one do you want?
Which one of these two things do you want right now? Now I know we talked before you came out here, the holidays can be really stressful for people, and you don't think they should be.
Well, the goal is to try to be a little bit more ahead of the game most of the time so that it's not as stressful, because what happens is the holidays, they're gone, right? And then we didn't do any of the things, like all the stuff that you just described.
Right.
We don't enjoy any of that. And then we're just exhausted by the time January 1st comes. And we're like, wait, what just happened? And it's a flash. So I try to help people create little moments of mindfulness where they can, so that they're actually enjoying the things the season has to offer.
I love that. When you say mindfulness, you want people to be in that moment and be with their family and enjoying that, instead of like, okay, check, did that, and now next.
Exactly. So one of the things too is people don't realize it can be 5 minutes in the morning that you spend quietly by yourself, or that you do like a journaling of what you're grateful for, or even in your car ride, sometimes just being quiet, or screaming out music, whichever one you feel like you need that moment. But it's in those little moments that allow us to be more present in the important ones.
That's a big deal as people kind of get ready for this, I'm going to say, the home stretch here of the holiday season. There's a lot going on here. So if somebody were to call you and get you as their coach, can you kind of walk us through how the steps of that work?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of times what people don't realize is that not every coach is a great fit for you. So you have to find somebody who it fits well. It's just as much of a commitment for the client as it is for me. I could teach them everything, but if they're not going to do it, then nothing changes. So it has to be something that you feel comfortable and committed to do. But I will say most of the time it's scary. And every time I hire a coach, it's a little uncomfortable too, but it's in that where basically when you feel like this person can help me, I feel comfortable with them, and then it starts where we just get to know each other a bit and we're able to get into what's most important, what do you feel like is missing. And then over the time, I start to notice people's trends or things that I can see that would be beneficial. Or I feel like more than anything, I point out for people where they are doing well, because we don't do that enough for ourselves. And so they're constantly beating themselves up all day,
Right.
which then hinders your confidence and your productivity and all of those things. And then you're, short with your kids and all that. So I'm able to point out, like, that was really great what you did. You should be very proud of that. And being able to point out those spaces where we're all just so fast and busy that we don't even notice.
Because even if you had a partner, your partner might not be the one who's like, oh, that was really great. I'm so proud of you. That might not be that dynamic that they have. So having somebody kind of in the outside being like, oh, that was great. That was wonderful. That can kind of help you, maybe make you a little happier.
Or maybe believe it a little bit, right?
Right.
We don't always believe our partners when they say that, or our mom, right? Your mom's like, you're so great. And we're like, yeah, okay.
I roll my eyes at my mom all the time because she's my biggest fan. But not most people, you're like, oh, that's mom. She has to say that stuff.
Yeah.
So what's the difference? Because, if I look life coach, I might be able to find a couple in the area. What kind of do you think is different about you?
I personally think that sustainability is a big point. So you could go and find a program that's like these 75 things you're supposed to do every single day, and it's this big deal. And you're like, yes, I'm so excited. And that might last for a week, but then we get stuck in these cycles of, then we feel bad about ourselves again because we didn't stick to it. And because it's just more than you should start with. That's not realistic.
Oh, okay.
And so what I really like to focus on is what's your current life like, and where are we wanting to switch? Where can we create sustainable change to where it's not a constant fight? It becomes like a part of your natural rhythm. It's a big part of it for me.
That is probably huge because you're right. I think I've seen some of the talking gurus on there, and they're like, it's real easy. Follow these steps. And I'm like, that sounds great. And then I never do it because that's a lot of steps.
And then life happens in between. That's the other thing. It's like your kid calls, or somebody's sick, or your car breaks down, or whatever. And then most of the time we just throw that out and we never talk about it again because then we feel bad we didn't stick to the giant list.
Right.
So it kind of defeats the purpose.
So kind of smaller bites to kind of start to kind of get you on your way. So you kind of get a good rhythm there. Now I know there's ways that people can like follow you, but you have this podcast. So what's the podcast about?
Well, it's called the Lifestyle Creation Podcast, and my goal for it was to do 20 to 30-minute episodes so somebody could listen to it on their car ride to work or wherever, where it's not a huge commitment in their time to listen. And my idea always is to offer a different perspective. I think a lot of times we get more stressed or things are more difficult simply because we are in our own little lane, which is a great place to be most of the time. But sometimes we don't see a different perspective. And that can let so much weight off of your shoulders and continue to, you can operate completely different in every area of your life with just a perspective shift. So that's what I try to do on those episodes, is to share something and how a different perspective may actually help you move forward or use this in your day-to-day activities, things like that.
That's so interesting. And I know, I think I called it law of attraction, but that's not what it is. But you have a very positive kind of what you speak into existence. Like, you don't want to say horrible things about yourself. You want to only say good things about yourself, right?
Yes, and it's kind of a tricky place because you will see some people like on Instagram that are telling you only say these positive things, and then we say them and it feels really icky and weird and not true to us. So there's definitely like a middle ground to find, I think, to where just shifting the language from negative self-talk doesn't mean you have to then like say, I'm a millionaire and I live in Florida, when you don't.
Right.
Like,
I feel like a lot of people have trouble with that because they hear from some guru online that if you say it, it'll happen. And it's like, it's really hard to come into the studio and be like, did you know that I'm a millionaire and I live in Nashville? And they're going to be like, well, no, because you're here.
Right, because that's not really it. Well, and I think too, what we have to realize is there's a place between the big goal and where we are now, right? We have to fill in those stepping stones. And I think that's something that's a little different than a lot of life coaches too, is that if you're making 50 grand in your business now and your goal is to make $1 million, that's great. And I'm not going to tell you that that's what you need to be hyper focused on when you're at 50 grand right now. Like, we want to make realistic stepping stones in between.
Kind of the stepping stones to help that business grow. Because I said life coach, but you're also a business coach. So you're helping people take their businesses from like you said, 50 grand up. So, and that's kind of the same concept though as the life coach?
It is. What's funny is that I first started working with people managing their businesses because that's where my background was. And then I was doing all this personal development, like certifications and all these things. And then realized every business owner's, their biggest issues were their personal lives. It was their own stuff. They didn't have somebody to talk to, or they were stressed about their husband, or they were stressed about their kids, or they couldn't make time to go to the gym, or whatever it was. It was always a personal thing that was then reflecting on their teams and their bottom line and all of that stuff. So a lot of times it's our personal communication and our personal, how we are as an individual that allows us to run good businesses. So we can call it business coaching because I do have that experience and I do help them with the statistics and all of, processes and things like that. But it all comes back down to the life part and to the individual.
So if I'm somebody who's maybe a stay-at-home mom, or maybe I just currently don't have a job, that's still something you could help me organize my life and get me on my way if that's a job is what I want, or kind of figure out where I'm going wrong.
100%. Stay-at-home moms are some of my favorite clients, honestly, because they have the biggest job load. Like, it's crazy. And when I can have them think of it more that way, and look at, hey, you're like managing a business. Your household and your kids and everything that they need is managing a company, basically. And it puts a different level, again, perspective, right, of importance and of like, oh, all these little things that sometimes feel like they're driving me nuts are all stacking into this well-oiled machine that we live in. And it's just so important. So same thing. Most of the time they're talking to little kids all day. And so having a sounding board is so important.
Somebody to kind of bounce that off of. I love that so much. What would you tell people is like maybe the one biggest takeaway that if nothing else from this interview that they should have?
A morning routine, in which everyone's like, ugh, with me as soon as I say it. But I will say, I mean, almost every single time when a client is starting to get really frustrated or something's not working, something's off with either what they're doing at the very end of the day, which usually sets you up well for your morning routine, or their mornings. Like, they're not taking the time to stretch or to get dressed in clothes that actually make them feel good. Or, they like their little quiet 10 minutes with their coffee before all their kids wake up or whatever. Usually it's that morning space that people don't realize sets you up for the rest of the day. So if you're waiting till the last minute, you're jumping up out of bed because the alarm's going off and you're like, oh my God, I'm late, and you're running and you're rushing, the rest of your day is going to be in that same state most of the time because that's where we're starting. So what we don't realize is we can choose to start our days differently, and then it typically snowballs from there.
I feel like she could see into my soul and was saying things to me, because that I am typically pop out of bed or run away. So that is one thing I'll try to change. But I know that people are going to want to follow you, keep up with your podcast. So let's go through literally all because you have so many channels that people can kind of keep up with you, see what you're all about before they actually hire you.
Yeah, absolutely. So on Facebook, I'm at jamiethurber.biz, B-I-Z. Okay. And then Instagram's jamie.thurber, because somebody stole my handle before I got it.
Oh, no. There's another Jamie Thurber out there.
She's a real estate agent somewhere, so go her.
Okay.
But then the podcast, you can find it on any platforms that you listen, or you can just go to thelifestylecreationpodcast.com. On my website, there's all kinds of info, but my favorite page is jamiethurber.com/coaching, because it kind of gives you these different windows of ways that I can help you.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so that's a great way. So if you want to start off into like those little bites, you can maybe start following on Instagram and listening to that podcast. And then once you're like, ooh, maybe life coach is for me, that's when they can start contacting you and figure out how you might be a good fit. And like you said, it might not be a good fit. Maybe you're not for everybody, but you might be for somebody.
Well, and usually I can refer people other places too, which is nice.
Perfect. Well, Jamie, thank you so much for being on the show. It's so fun. Like, I actually know her in real life, so it's even better. Definitely follow her, follow along, and check out that podcast. Like I said, it'll make you happy, even for just like a couple minutes of your day. If you can keep it, that's even better. After you follow Jamie, make sure you follow us. You can follow us on all our social media channels. Of course, Facebook, X, Instagram, we're everywhere. And you can always look back at past shows on YouTube as well. And you can drop us a line at thedailymix@stltv.net. That's going to do it for us. We keep it right here in STL TV and Experience St. Louis. I'll see you next time.